This is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, so today we are doing the side-by-side camera comparison between the Galaxy Note 8 and the S8 Plus. Now, this is going to be testing out to see how much of a difference really has come about with software improvements over the past couple of months. Now, can the S8 Plus get these software improvements? It is a possibility, actually. That definitely is a possibility. When they'll get it, that's another question, right? They're probably not going to get a big update till Android Oreo comes out, and that probably won't be till December at this point. Although they are in beta, it's not necessarily that they're going to get released right away. So let's go over the four main categories that most people care about. Now, if you're wondering why we don't do the regular daylight shot, and that's just because there's no real difference in that with most cameras. So we don't do the regular shots here. We like to do an extreme low light. We like to do a color reproduction and see just how much with different colors it does well. We like to do a in-depth details to see how sharp the pictures really can get. And finally, of course, the all-important selfie. And we do a selfie extreme test to really give you the best idea of how your selfies go. So let's get started with the first one, shall we? So in this image, we purposely always pick one with a light post with a bright light. Why? Because this tells you if your camera is going to give you a lens flare and or haze. And in this example, it's really a great kind of demonstration of the difference of the Note 8 versus the S8 Plus, because the Note 8 has neither a lens flare, that's that little twinkle in the light. It does have actually a little bit of a lens flare, but it doesn't extend out to the extent that you see over here on the S8 Plus with these lens flares just going all over the place. It's much more tamed on the Note 8. Not to mention that because of the lens flares going to such extreme on the S8 Plus, you can see the haze really come about it, and you really lose the color differentiation. Whereas on the Note 8, you really get that difference of color, so I definitely like that more. It's a much better looking color reproduction because it's not overblown with the light post. So yes, the Note 8 is much better in low light comparing to the S8 Plus. And I did take two photos of each of these so that we can get the best one. So if there was one really bad of the S8 and comparing the two, this was the better one, just to give an idea, and same with the Note, of course. Alright, now the next one is the details category. And details are always very interesting. So what we do is we leave everything on auto on all these settings, by the way. We tapped the middle of the screen, so right where it says the PS3 section right here on both images, and we took the photo. Now I'm going to be looking at it, see how the detail looks. So let's go on the photo, and first let's check out the mouse. So read most of the letters here and the mouse on the razor. A lot of noise difference when it comes to these two right away. I can see as I zoom in, especially on the black, you can see the keyboard a lot better on here, and when I go on here, it's very fuzzy, so that's what you call noise overall in it. Let's start to zoom in and see some of these photos. So right away, the main title in the middle, Kingdom Hearts, is clear on both. Let's take a look at the sides though. Definitely in the sides, again, it's not just the noise, although the noise is definitely more prevalent here. You can see that it's very noisy on this side. I can't even read the Tomb Raider part at all in here. Not that it's so clear here, but I could definitely read Rise of the Tomb Raider. Whereas on here, I cannot read any of the Rise of the... I can kind of read Tomb Raider, but that's about it. Overall, Mario Party 9 is almost non-legible. It is here, so it's doing a lot better in the details as well. And again, this is because of the lower light in the room. Not to say it had still one main light right above me, but it might have not been enough to light the shadows and the shelving. But overall, yeah, the details are going to be better on the Note 8 too. Although I will say it has to deal with the lighting situation probably as well. But there's no excuse for the top one being bad on that keyboard. So overall, yes, there has been an improvement on the details. Now we go into color reproduction. Now with color reproduction, we take a look at different colors throughout here, as well as skin tones, because sometimes a person can look more pale or look more tan or anything along those lines. So we like to see all different skin tones as well as different colors in general. So first, the blues, the purples, greens. The blue looks a bit more vibrant on here, which isn't necessarily... I think overall the colors just seem to be more vibrant, or at least not a little washed out. Like, you definitely see the white on the Joker's face here is more washed out than this one. And you can also see that in our white detail for the Shadow Hunter logo, whereas you can tell the different shades of white here. And on here you can see they kind of blend in more so that's not as good. Now let's see with the skin tone layout. So right away I can tell in skin tones the Note 8 is also being better. If you can look at say these two, they have distinguishingly different skin tones on this picture, but on this picture it's kind of washed out, so it seems very similar in skin tone for their picture there. Again, with the different ones here, you can kind of see that difference in skin tone. And like here, she's more white, whereas here she has a bit more color, yellow in her. So yeah, and then for darker skin tones, actually, I will say that the Note is over vibrant and gives a darker skin tone than the S8 Plus, being a little bit closer to what it would be. So overall, I would give it to the Note 8, although the S8 Plus seems to do a bit better with darker skin tones matching the correct color. So let's go to the last one, which is the Selfie. Now, why do we call this the Selfie Extreme Test? Well, it's because we like to compare two different sections that are going to tell you how your selfies will look overall. So behind me there is a dark area and a bright area. The dark area is to tell you how to look at dim lit areas. So if you take a selfie in a dim lit area, are you going to get what we saw earlier with the S8, and that is noise, fuzziness, and just the details are very grainy and you can't make out anything. The bright area, and it's not doing too bad on either one of these two phones, but the bright area tends to get washed out on some smartphones, especially the mid-range and entry-level smartphones. It gets washed out entirely, and that tells you if you're in a sunny day area and the sun is right behind you, it might wash out your photo, whereas if it's clear in the background, then you can actually tell that the sun won't wash out your photo, and that's usually indicated of a good HDR lighting. So let's take a look at first the left side, then the right side, then we will take a look at, see how it is in my face itself. Okay, overall with the sides, you can kind of see neither one is perfect on here, but I will say that you can tell a little bit more detail in the Note 8, although it's very, like, you can tell the lock more. The lock is more prevalent on here, whereas here it's more washed out. And the same with the lines. Neither one you could really see the light switch. And yeah, they're very similar, although I will say the lock is more prevalent there. So for low light, both do a really good job in terms of actually being able to see things back there. There are some phones that we've done before where you just can't see anything back there, and it's just really dark and kind of can't make out what anything is, or the lines you can't even make out. So overall, decent, but we have also, I would say, seen better. However, in the stair rail and the photo in the background, again telling you how your subject could be in the background, you could see zoomed in that the picture of me and my wife, you can actually make out a lot more in the image, especially like her dress, where it's kind of like all shaded and washed out on the S8 Plus. Also for the railing, it's very comparable, although the mistletoe we have up there, you can make out a lot more clearly in this photo than you can in here, where it kind of just blends in with the staircase. Here you can tell it's different from it. Overall too, this gives a more natural color, whereas this takes the yellow coloring from the light upstairs, which is a different color from where I am. And as we can see on the subject itself, I will say this: not only do I feel that this gives more detail, you can tell on the nose and my face and even on the side right here. Not only does it give more details, but it does finally get rid of a lot more of that beauty stuff. Now both beauty sections are completely turned off on the phone, but I feel like the S8 Plus always still gave a bit of that beauty shot even with it off. So I like that the Note 8 kind of looks more realistic and not as touched up. So overall, although the S8 is not bad by any means, the Note 8 clearly has a better camera overall. When it comes to the low light, it is clearly better. Details, it is definitely sharper, and again, that has to deal with low light though, I feel as well. The color reproduction is overall better on the Note 8, although in this shot in particular, the S8 Plus did a little bit better with darker skin tones. And then you have the Selfie overall being a little bit fine-tuned, I would say, on the Note 8, and more realistic and less of that touched up look. Alright guys, that was our camera review on comparison between the Note 8 and S8 Plus. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What other camera comparisons would you want to see this phone go up against? We are going to get the iPhone 8 Plus in next week, so that camera comparison will be coming next week, as well as the size and everything else we want to compare between those two phones. Thank you guys always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.